Hey fellow prisoners, it's ya boy, Shade of the Faded from twitch.tv/Shade of the Faded. Link will be down below in the description. I have about 120-ish hours in the game as of this recording, and I just wanted to make a beginner's guide series basically on the game. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at the rundown protocol number 1 in patch 0.1, and we will also be looking at the loadout. So if you're new to GTFO, welcome, and if you're a veteran, you might learn something. So let's connect to the rundown. Basically how the rundown works is that currently there are 6 levels. I'm not going to go too much into the future stuff, but basically there is another rundown down the road. But currently how it works is that there are basically tiers of floors. So you have 4 different tiers. In order to unlock the next tier, you have to complete the previous one. Everybody starts at A1, which is a tutorial map for 4 players. You can also solo the game. I've been practicing solo as well. It's a lot different, but for the most part, you'll be playing 4-player. And A1 is constructed to basically be a 4-player tutorial map. So I highly advise getting a group together before you jump in. It's also a lot more fun, and basically solo is more of a challenge thing, but it is possible. I thought I would just mention that because I am a solo player as well as a group player. So the rundown is basically pretty simple. You do A1. What's cool is it will tell you kind of what you have to do here. It gives you a little bit of lore to the level as well as the depth. And then over here, eventually when matchmaking gets added, you'll be able to join lobbies, stuff like that. For now, we have to use the Discord, which is kind of like a prison cell for all of us where we meet up and then we get dropped down to the rundown together. And you can get to the Discord by using the button right here. And basically when you are in someone's game, they will send you a code, which you can get from basically if you host a lobby. You click copy lobby ID to clipboard. And then basically if you have it copied and you open your game to the rundown, you will see the host game right here. It will say like, hey, join Shaded's game. You click that, it will take you to the lobby. So that's basically the rundown in a nutshell. And we're going to move on to the weapon loadout. So this is the loadout page, and currently for version 0.1, we do not have weapon attachments or weapon stats. It's basically just the vanilla weapon. So we're going to quickly go over each one and kind of list the pros and cons. If I talk about enemy types, we'll be doing a video on that in the future, so keep a lookout for that. So let's get into it. Your main weapons are your primary weapons. Obviously, these are the ones you'll be using more often than not. They typically contain more ammo than the special weapons or secondaries. So let's hop on in. So starting off with the pistol. The pistol, it's really good if you land the headshots. It has high ammo capacity, and in this game, you really want weapons with high ammo because this is a game about choosing your fights wisely, but it's also taking a lot of elements from survival horror games, meaning that you have limited resources and you need to choose your battles wisely. So having weapons with higher ammo capacity means that ammo packs are more useful and you have a lot more bullets, and if you're landing those headshots, you shouldn't run into running out of resources too often, but you will run out of them more often than not, depending on how the RNG kind of rolls in. So I find the pistol's really good. It's got high ammo. If you can land those headshots, it's an all-around pretty great weapon. The SMG is my personal favorite. It's fully automatic. It has a high rate of fire. It's short range. It's got high ammo capacity. This can hold about 400 bullets at 100% ammo. And if you're landing those headshots or just like bullet hosing, you kind of have the ability to do that because of the high ammo capacity. The short range is kind of false because you can hit far. You just can't hit like a sniper rifle. But all around, really good weapon for just burst fire or taking down packs, or just popping off heads. DMR, gonna say it now, I'm a little bit biased. Do not like the DMR. It's semi-automatic, which is fine. It's long range, it has high damage, it's limited ammo capacity. So the reason I'm not a fan of this gun is mainly because it's a single shot kind of, it's semi-automatic, meaning you take the shot and you can take another shot. The long range aspect is nice and the high damage is nice. So if you pop those headshots, it will mess up the enemies pretty hard. ruin their day. The only thing is the limited ammo capacity. It is not a gun where you can just fire willy-nilly. It's kind of like you have to land those headshots. It's still a good weapon, but overall it's a DMR. I'm just not that big of a fan when you have much better weapons at your disposal right now. And last but not least is the assault rifle. It's fully automatic, medium range, balanced recoil. It has a little bit less ammo than the SMG, and by a little bit, I mean a good chunk, but it has a little bit more damage I've noticed. Overall, I would recommend starting with either the SMG or the assault rifle. The pistol is extremely good, and then the DMR, if you like that playstyle, I say go for it, but in a personal opinion order, I would go SMG, pistol, and then assault is pretty much like, I would pretty much choose SMG first, and then put pistol and assault in second, and then DMR in third. So for special weapons or secondaries, we have the shotgun. It's a semi-automatic, high damage, short range, low ammo capacity weapon. Basically, if you've played any other game with a shotgun, it works kind of the same. It's a single shot, high damage if you're up close, but the problem I have with it is that super low ammo capacity. It does not do it any favors, but it's still an okay weapon. The combat shotgun is my personal favorite. It's fully automatic, it has high damage and short range, but it also has approximately, I believe, 57 bullets in it when it's fully 100% ammo capacity range is, you have 100%. If you land those headshots, it messes up enemies. It can also destroy titans really quick. It's overall a great weapon. And then we have the Revolver, which is a semi-automatic, high damage, medium range, heavy recoil weapon. The main thing about the Revolver is it's kind of like a mini sniper rifle. It doesn't have a ton of ammo, and its recoil is pretty heavy, meaning if you fire a shot, you kind of have to like re-aim back down, but it's high damage and you can kind of headshot things. It can take down the scout a little bit, but I've seen people one-shot the scout in the head with the Revolver, but most of the time they miss, so I don't really recommend it. But the main issue I have with the Revolver, again, is just the limited ammo. I don't like using ammo packs on people where I know they're just going to run out of ammo really quick, and it's not a bad weapon. Again, it's just an opinion piece, but I'm not really a fan of the Revolver. I think it's okay, but I'd rather have the combat shotgun or the machine gun, which is up next. It's a fully automatic, medium range, it's got a low rate of fire, and it's got a charge up. So it's got about a 1.5 to 2 second charge up. It's got 25 bullets in the clip, and then about 80 something as backup when you're 100%. The machine gun is controversial in the community because a lot of people are like, oh, it either sucks or it's either good. I've seen other players solo the entire game with it. Basically right now it's pretty much like combat shotgun or machine gun. These are kind of the two dominant specials you'll see a lot. The machine gun can take down enemies really quickly, as well as sleepers, which are the normal little enemies. You can two-shot them basically with it. It's a really powerful weapon. It just doesn't have the amount of ammo you kind of expect out of a machine gun. It's kind of more like an assault rifle, sort of, but not really. You also have to make sure you're landing your shots. If you land your shots, the ammo capacity is fine. If you're missing a lot, I don't really recommend it, just because it is kind of an ammo hog if you are wasting the ammo. The sniper rifle. It's a sniper rifle. This is a horde mode game. It has low ammo, but it has extremely high damage. You can take out like titans pretty quick with it. Sleepers are a one shot. The scout is a one shot. And the future enemies are also pretty prone to getting, a lot of damage from it. The main issue is, again, it's a sniper rifle, and you're in a lot of closed areas, like close range combat. It has very low ammo. I think it has like 15 bullets to 20 bullets overall. In horde mode situations, again, not very good when you run out of primary and say you need something to take out enemies quick. It's a sniper rifle. If you're playing group, it's not bad to have one person have it, but again, it's more like a situational weapon. You're not really going to use it unless you're taking down specifically the scout currently, but Overall, I would either use the combat shotgun or the machine gun because they just have pretty good ammo and damage for secondary. So for tool or class, but we'll just call them tool, you have the Seafoam launcher, which can be, it basically shoots out a bunch of white foam. Insert cum joke here, which is called the cum foam launcher in the community most of the time. But basically what you can do is you can launch it at the floor, and if enemies run through it, they will get CC'd, which means crowd controlled, which means the enemy will slow down or sometimes get frozen, stuff like that. You can also hit an enemy directly with it, such as the scout, which will freeze them, and you have a chance to run up and quickly bash the scout in the head or take down a titan if you have extra seafoam, stuff like that. The most important aspect of it, though, is the Seafoam launcher can reinforce doors, which is extremely useful for doing security scans, which we will talk about with terminal stuff. But for now, the Seafoam launcher is a really good weapon for group, as well as I've seen it solo, but not so much because mines and sentries are kind of better for solo, but Seafoam launcher is all around. Great tool to have. The bio tracker is like Alien. You basically lift it up, you can see dots on it in front of you, you let your team know how many are in the next room. Also, if enemies are moving or the scouts walking around, you can target them and tag them, meaning on everybody's screen they will show up as little red blips, or basically on your heads-up display you will see little red upside-down triangles saying, hey, these are the enemies that are moving and they have been tagged. It's extremely helpful for just keeping a good eye on the scout, because you don't want to alert the scout because he will trigger the whole complex and it will go to shit for your team if you're not properly prepared for that fight. Tracker is not necessary, but it's very useful for when you're just starting the game and learning, so I definitely recommend one of you taking it if you're playing group. Mines are extremely useful. You can place mines on walls, the floor, like basically anywhere. And if an enemy runs over it, it will trip the mine. It's basically a little mine that has a laser that points out, obviously, and if they run over the laser, it just blows them up. Currently in version 0.1, you can silently kill a scout with a mine because the mine, for some reason, does not make a noise that triggers the room. It's just silent when it blows up the scout. It's a little bit exploity, and it is, well, it's not a little, it's extremely exploitative. And it is getting fixed next patch, so I wouldn't rely on it for your solo runs, but this is currently what we're kind of using. Overall, though, it's extremely useful for reinforced doors if you want to blow up packs running in, stuff like that. Burst Sentry. If you want to roleplay Alien, it's amazing, but the accuracy is not very good. It uses way too much bullets. That's not even a real sentence. It uses way too much ammo. And it's just, it doesn't pack enough of a punch compared to the shotgun sentry. And the shotgun sentry, it uses a healthy amount of ammo per kill, and it's just all around better because most of the time it's one-shotting things. However, the burst is still fun to use because it is like Alien, and it is kind of cool seeing it just go ham and fire a ton of bullets. But overall, I would recommend the shotgun over it currently, and that brings us to the shotgun. Shotgun is a short-range sentry that fires about 5 shotgun pellets out of it per 5 bullets, basically. So how the weapon works is it goes down by 5 each shot. So if you have 100 bullets and it fires a shot, it drops down to 95, then 90, then 85, and so forth until you're out of rounds. So those are the tool slash classes in a sense. I would personally recommend them all. Experiment. The only one I wouldn't recommend really is the burst over the shotgun, but the burst isn't horrible. You can take it, it's fine. I think all the tools are extremely useful. Some maps you will use multiple sentries, or maybe you use 2 seafoams or 2 mines. It's all dependent on your team and what you're trying to do. Melee wise, all of these are the same thing. You just smash an enemy with them. They have no difference right now. They're all just for looks. So overall, that's the loadout. My personal loadout is an SMG with a combat shotgun. First of all, SMG, ton of ammo, really good for the horde modes. Combat shotgun, useful for taking headshots on enemies or taking down titans, stuff like that. Shotgun Sentry for group. I usually like it. I've been trying to practice with it solo, but I will take Seafoam or Bio. It just depends on what your team needs for the tool. And then melee, I just like the Sledgehammer because it's cool. Anyways, that's the end of the loadout, and yeah, see you guys later. Stay safe, stay faded, and on to the next one.